want to have a successful career as a real estate agent, you need a plan. You need to work on income producing activities, and you need someone to help you shorten that learning curve so you can start making money now. I am Jason Morris from Real Estate Agents That Really Work, and I'm going to tell you what you need to do to be successful in today's real estate market. Find the skills for your success at jasonmorrisgroup.com.
We're going to
And
start.
are we going to be live in Facebook
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to be live on Facebook. Yeah.
to the group?
Yeah. Yes, we are. Actually, we're almost live right now.
I'm nervous.
Oh, it's not going to be bad. There'll be like some questions and stuff, but it's going to be really easy. The thing is, like, don't really pay attention to like what the questions are, and it's going to be fun. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Let's see here. Let me pull it up so I can actually see the questions.
But I'm not supposed to be able to see anything, right?
No, I don't think so. Let's see.
Okay. Making sure. Oh my gosh, it says that you are live now.
Oh yeah, it's live. Yeah. so, so yeah, it's hey, everything's going right now. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yep. Cool. Well, I tell you what, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself, what city you're in, tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay. I'm Andrea, and I'm a realtor in Houston, Texas. I work in Houston and the surrounding suburbs. So Missouri City, Pearland, Manville. I've even gone far up north, like Kingwood, sold a house for 2 in Porter. So I pretty much work anywhere in Houston and the surrounding areas.
Cool. So you got like a really big market to work from.
Yes,
I mean,
I
it's
actually
an enormous
do.
market. How many and there's something like crazy, like 50,000 realtors there?
Probably so. The last number that I actually heard, though, was 33,000, but that was like 2 years ago.
But that, so how long have you been in the business?
2 years.
2 years. What did you do before you got into the real estate business?
I was in oil and gas, and then I was in energy. I was in energy for about 7 years.
So oil and gas and energy, were you actually selling oil and gas and energy?
No, I was I was an analyst. I was a contract analyst.
Really? That sounds like a really important job.
It was.
What made you decide real estate business?
Well, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur growing up. And I always said, well, you know what? I don't want anyone to control my income. And even though I had a good income, I still didn't like going into that annual meeting and you did a great job. And so you get a 2% raise. Oh, and by the way, that was the highest raise we gave anybody this year.
Oh, man. And you're looking
Really,
at
guys?
it going, really?
I'm like, okay, so 2%, that's like, what, $2,000 maybe for the year. So I just wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I want to be able to control my own income, whether that was going to be a lot or a little, but I wanted to control it myself.
So let me ask you, your first year in the business, how many transactions did you do?
Woo! My first year, oh gosh, I will say probably only, I think I probably did about 5.
About 5? What was the average sales price on those transactions?
About 150. That's still that. Even though my market is very I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Yeah, you have a lot of diversity in your market.
Yes, I do.
You guys have multi-million-dollar homes, but then you have cheap houses.
Exactly.
Yep.
So my average sales price right now is still between about 150 and 200 because almost all of my business comes from my sphere. So that's about my range, but I've done a little over 2, and I've done well under 150.
Oh, wow. Cool. Well, I got some questions I want to ask you about your business because I want to help you with your business. And Let's so this year, what are you doing this year? Where are things at?
Things are actually going good right now. Business has ramped up, and I remember all of my colleagues telling me in my first year when I was like whining and complaining, they're like, just stay in the business. People have to know that you're going to stick and stay. Just stay. It'll get better. And it has. So this year, I've had, like right now, I have 2 active listings. I have 2 other ones that I'm going to, they're going to go active pretty soon. I have about 5 buyers that are pre-approved and actively looking. So that, of course, keeps me all over town. And it's just, I'm getting a lot of leads now. And so it's just like I've had a family that I sold a house to when I first started. And that family has now turned into probably about 4 transactions. So it's just growing, getting a lot of referrals. So I'm very busy.
Cool. So so how many transactions did you say you've done this year?
6 so far.
You've done 6 so far. How many do you want to do this year?
20 more at least.
You're going to do 26. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to do about 3.5 times more the second half of the year than you did the first half of the year. What are you doing different to get that 3.5 times more sales?
I'm going on appointments with FSBOs that I'm not, I haven't won on the spot yet, but I'm following up.
So I got your message. So you've been on 5 FSBO appointments in a week?
It was about a week and a half.
About a week and a half? So you're going to one just about every other day?
Yes.
So what's happening when you're going on those FSBO appointments?
Well, I'm doing my, I don't do the pre-qualifying script before I go. I might shoot, but I don't. I do it when I get there. And I have a format that I follow. I guess maybe I don't know if I'm not aggressive enough because I know that they have some intention to use a realtor, you wouldn't have let me come over.
Of course. They do want to sell their house. You're asking them that for sure. So let me ask you, what does your script look like that you are doing?
I ask them some basic questions, where do they need to be and how soon they need to be there. I ask them why are they trying to sell it themselves. I ask them, I don't have it in front of me, but I have about 5 or 6 questions that I go through and I ask them. Then I take a look at their home. I don't let them come with me. I look at it on my own, and then we come back to the kitchen table. I show them how I market, and then I ask them if I can be of service to them and sell their home for them.
Are you using any type of pre-listing package?
Yours.
You're using mine? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool. Are you sending it out every time before you get there?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. So I'll tell you what really, really helped me, because I was doing the same thing you're doing for a while. Okay. And then we'll talk about what happens when you get there. But one of the things that I learned was through the process of setting the appointment, actually getting to the house, try to get the price they want for their house. And it's easy, just ask them, hey, what will you guys take for it? I know you're asking $150,000. What will you take for it? What would you take if somebody brought you cash? You want to isolate what their wants and needs are. And then when they give it that number to you, let's say, for example, that number is $150,000. When you're getting ready and you're preparing to show up to their house, I always pull comparables. I'm just making me some notes so I stay on track here. Some comparables. And I always do the net sheet. Are you using a net sheet?
I do.
Okay, cool. Well,
I did everything you said.
You do everything I said. You're just not closing the appointments when you get there.
Right.
Well, I tell you, if you do the comparables, do your active pricing strategy, and build it so that it supports that net sheet. Then when you're sitting there in front of them, one thing I always do the appointment with them and let them walk around the house with me, and I try to point out things. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to build like a little bit of rapport, and I want to talk to them. I want to steady say we, and I want to talk to them as if we're already working together. So I want to say, hey, yeah, when we bring buyers over, when we do this, when a buyer comes to your house, they're going to notice that little spot on the ceiling that looks like a roof leak. Is the roof leaking still? And I want to ask them questions about that. And I try not to point out anything that looks like it's going to be a problem without offering some sort of solution. The thing is, they know what the problem is already. You know what I mean? So they know that their carpet looks gross, or they know that they got a water stain on the ceiling that's, that big, They know that problem's there. I just point out the problem and say, hey, is this still a problem? Or, hey, what can we do about this? And most of the time they know what to do. And chances are, if it was an old roof leak, then all they really need is a can of sealant paint or a can of primer, as long as the roof leak's taken care of, So I go through that, and I constantly talk to them as if we're already working together. And then when I sit down at the table, so what happens after you go to the appointment? Like, what happens when you're there, you tour their house, what happens next?
Then we sit back down and I show them my presentation of how I'm going to market their home.
I'll tell you, how long is the appointment typically lasting?
About 45 minutes to an hour.
45 minutes. I'll tell you something I want you to try on your next one. Okay. Go through the house with them. Make a little small talk. Make the house tour last like 5 to 10 minutes, right? It doesn't have to be like really long. If it's an enormous house, if it's one of these like $5 million homes you guys have, it might take a little more than 5 to 10 minutes. But, your average house is going to take you about 10 minutes to go through. Okay. Then I always tell them, I say, hey guys, I do a lot of research before I come to these appointments. What I'd like to do is, can we sit at your kitchen table so that we can kind of spread everything out, and then we can look at it and make sure that, that way we got plenty of room. I always try to sit at the end of the kitchen table. That way the wife can sit on one side and the husband can sit on the other, and we can all look at the same stuff, and I can slide it out and point, and, everybody can see, So I never go through the presentation because they've already got your pre-listing package before you got there. So I sent out my pre-listing package before I got there. And then I follow up the next day. I follow up by text to make sure that they got it as soon as I send it. And I'll follow up the next day and just say, hey, I just want to make sure you got my package, and I want to see if you guys had any questions about it before I show up to the house. So I've already followed up once by text, and then I made a phone call to actually make sure that they got it and see if they had any questions before I got there. If they, some agents are scared to do that follow-up call because they think they're going to cancel on you. And honestly, if they're going to cancel on you, they're probably going to cancel on you anyway. And I'd rather know they're going to cancel on me early than when I'm turning in their driveway and they go, oh, we need to cancel today's appointment. So, so I always tell them, I do a lot of research before I came. I want to show you guys what I found. And then I go straight into showing them the comparables. And are you using my active pricing strategy too?
I do use actives, yes.
Cool. Yeah, I would use the actives because the actives are going to be a lot easier to explain, what they're competing against than what's already sold. And then as soon as I do that and show them the actives, I pull out the net sheet and go, hey guys, so if we market your home for $165 or whatever the price is, then we have real estate commissions, we have attorney cost or title fees, depending on what's in your state. And I go down through the cost real quick. I always circle the number at the bottom that's going to show their net. And I try to make that net as close to that price they gave me on the phone as possible in at least one column. And that's usually the column that I go down through, And then if we're on the high end, I go back to the actives and I go, hey guys, this is going to put you here competing with what's on the market. You're going to be the second lowest price winner. You're going to be the lowest priced home in a mile. Usually I try to be like in the lowest 1/3, 1/3 to 1/2. And I want to be able to justify why their house is better, why it's worse than the other ones. Now, as soon as I do that, I ask them if that price is going to be acceptable to them. And they've already told us yes, and typically we've already confirmed it, before we got there, walking through the house. Then I usually go through and I say, I just go, guys, I brought the paperwork with me. Do you guys want to get started today? And if they tell me no, I ask, why not? I said, really? Well, why don't you want to get started? Or what's your holdup? You know, you're already there in their house. They'll typically, sitting there in front of you, typically they're going to tell you why, you know, and then you go from there. You either overcome the objection or you don't. So what's happening when the people tell you no? What's their reasons?
Well, I had one lady said that she wanted to sign a one-day listing agreement.
Yeah.
So that let me know that she was interested. Just, I guess there was something missing about. I guess I just didn't overcome all of her objections. Let's see. Also, they tell me. Well, I had one lady say that she's already had a realtor before, and she showed me where she had moved all of her stuff because she staged, and then nothing happened.
Oh God.
And so she was very upset about that, and she said, well, she kept just saying, well, you guys don't do anything but write up paperwork, and I can do that myself. So I was telling her other things that we can do because she hadn't had anybody through the home. So I was like, well, obviously the biggest thing that you need is marketing. That's something that, you know, I would do. And she's like, well, no, I'm not paying $12,000 for you guys to do nothing but fill out a piece of paper. And then I had another guy who said he wanted to wait. Most of them say they want to wait a little bit because the FSBOs that I have been catching have been on the market for only about a week or about 5 to 7 days. So they always want to wait a little bit longer, at least another week or so, to see if they can get their own traffic. And then they said, well, if not, I enjoyed our conversation. I'll give you a call. I had a lady who was selling her home for lot value only. It was worth way more than that, and I told her that she could get. I basically covered my fees, and she still was like, "Well, no, I don't want to deal because if there are any type of problems with the home, I don't want to have to go down on the price." So she was scared that even if I listed it for the $600,000, that because that's what she could get, about $600,000, but she was selling for like $520 or something. I was like, "You don't have to do that." You know, she was just nervous that we'd have to keep backing down, and then she would end up getting less than the $520.
So I tell you, the marketing, this is how I always respond to any type of marketing question. I always revert back to the pre-listing package and go, well, guys, you saw my pre-listing package, right? And I always go back to that. You saw the pre-listing package, didn't you? Gosh, I sent it over to you, and I thought you said you got it. Did you look at it?
Yeah.
And I always revert back to that because that's, you have your list of services and you have the list of things you're going to do, and it looks like it's extensive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then the way that I describe my marketing is we market two ways. We market to the general public, and then we market to other realtors. And then I just usually continue the conversation, but I constantly revert back to the pre-listing package for anything about marketing. Now, I'll tell you, the hardest thing to do sometimes when people want like way less than what their market's bringing is to make them understand they can actually get more. Those people that say, oh, I'll take $100,000 for your house, and you're going, you're pulling up comps and you're going, oh my God, it's worth like $175,000. Those are some of the hardest appointments to close sometimes because they think that you're just telling them that to get them to sign the paperwork.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the ones that you aren't getting that have been on the market for 5 to 7 days, do you have a follow-up system right now that you're using or what are you doing to follow up?
Well, I send handwritten notes, and I honestly, I just randomly call them back. I do have your book though, so I need to go to the FSBO Master. I just need to read it. So
I just need to read it.
That's my next step.
You know what? I'll tell you what to do. This is going to make like your life a lot easier. As if you write out your follow-up system. What are you going to do like the day after the appointment? What are you going to do like a day or two? Because you're in a fairly hot market, right? So
Yes.
These people are going to list their house with a real estate agent more than likely. Some of them are selling their own. But more than likely they're going to list it with a real estate agent. They're going to write a real estate agent a check. You just want to make sure that it's you. what I would do is I would come up with me a system, use that book kind of like as your template, that follow-up system in it. I'd call them the next day. It's great if you want to do a handwritten letter, but that handwritten note or whatever is going to take them it's going to take 3 or 4 days to get there if you drop it in regular mail. I would do that if you want to, add that as part of your system. But I would call them. And actually, John just said the same thing, write out your follow-up system, then follow up. I would call them the next day and just go, hey, Mr. Seller, this is Jason Morris. I just wanted to see if you had any questions from yesterday's appointment. When would be a good time for us to talk? When would be a good time for us to meet again to get your house on the market? I want to work for you. I want to help you guys, and constantly follow up with that in mind. That whole idea of I want to help you. And then, like, if they tell you no and they shoot you down again, which sucks, call them back in another 2 to 3 days, because you want to stay on top of these people. Your job is really to do 2 things. Number 1 is to keep them hot on selling their house, and number 2 is to keep them hot on you, right? So, being in a hot market with a lot of competition, you might need to shorten up your follow-up time, whereas typically if you're in a slow market, it isn't as important to follow up as quickly and as fast. So you might want to follow up day one with a phone call. Day 3, and a lot of agents go, oh, you follow up more than once a week. Yeah, because I want to get paid.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Day 3, you follow up and say, hey, Mr. Seller, this is Jason Morris. You know what? I was thinking about you, and I was looking around online, and we talked, and I know I showed you comparables 3 or 4 days ago, but I'll tell you, we talked about 165, and I always talk about a house that just went under contract, because if you pull out a mile radius or you pull out a 2-mile radius, there's something that went under contract more than likely, or something that's pending. I always talk about something that's pending and something going on, and go, hey gosh, there's one pending, for 170 right down the street from yours. I know we can get you 165. I know we can get you 165 like we talked about. When are you ready for me to start working for you? And just constantly find that phrase that you use over and over. That's mine. When are you ready for me to start working for you? And gosh, when do you want me to start working for you? When do you want me to get working on your house and getting it sold for you? And then if they tell you no again, I'd follow up around day 5 or day 6. I'd follow up I like Fridays. I like Mondays. Friday follow-up would be, hey, there's a lot of people in town this weekend. Our office is getting a lot of calls. I wanted to see, I got some time this afternoon if you want, let's go ahead and get your house on the market for the weekend. I don't want you to miss a buyer. I also like Monday follow-ups too, because Monday follow-ups you can go, hey, Mr. Seller, gosh, you know what? I want to see if you got your house still for sale, because you know that more than likely it's still for sale. Hey, Mr. Seller, I know you got your house still for sale, or is your house still for sale? I like to ask him if it is, because I like for him to tell me yes. Is your house still for sale? Gosh, this weekend was a busy weekend for my office. Gosh, in the last week since I talked to you, we've had X number of properties go under contract. Or pull it up in MLS, pull up the area and say, that area that you live in the last week, there's been 4 properties to go under contract. Gosh, I feel like you missed out on one of those buyers. When do you want me to start working for you? It's, things are really busy. I got some time on Tuesday. Does Tuesday work for you to meet and do all the paperwork? And be aggressively assertive with it. I'll always ask the question, when do you want me to start working for you? I'll wait for their response, and then I go, well, Tuesday at 2 work for you. Or you specify the time. And these people, what you're going to see is a lot of these people, you're going to start listing through your follow-up, because right now, what's your lead source for these for sale owners?
Espresso.
Espresso? Okay, Espresso is pulling, Espresso is probably getting their leads from Craigslist. Okay, and they're getting their leads from Zillow, more than likely. There might be a couple other classified sites, but they're aggregating from those 2, I guarantee you. Okay, So those people, if they're showing up in your Espresso account, that means on their ad they had their phone number and they're easy to contact. They're like low hanging fruit, right? So so everybody's calling those people. Those people are getting a lot of calls. And now I'm not saying don't call them, right? Because you're setting appointments and you're doing well, and you'll get some of these through follow-up and stuff. The other really good ones is if you go on Craigslist, skim down through Craigslist and look for the leads that look for the ones that don't have a phone number or email address, right? That you got to go through the Craigslist email exchange and just send them like a quick email that says, hey, what's the best number to contact you? Don't go into a lot of detail. Don't try to list it through an initial email. Just, hey, what's the best number to contact you? Because what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of those people that email you back almost immediately going, with their phone number. Lots of times they'll just email their phone number. And I email them from Craigslist directly. That way when they email me back, it's got a Craigslist link so I can go look at the ad. Because if you email 5 or 6 people, you're not going to remember which one you emailed, right?
Right.
So, and those people that respond aren't getting calls from nobody but you. Right? Because most agents, if agents are contacting them, they're sending them like a 2-page pitch letter to list their house. You got their phone number and call them as quick as they come through. And those for sale owners have little to no competition. So gosh, so what else do you have going on in your business? Do you have any other problems or anything happening? Do you have anything I can help you with today? Other than the for sale owners?
No, well, I have a few other challenges, but it's probably just going to be developing a follow-up system. Just because I know personally, I'm sure I've lost a ton of business just from not following up. I see a lot of agents or hear a lot of agents talk about not having leads or getting leads, and that's really not my issue. My issue is following up and getting them to where I need them to be.
Oh yeah. You know what? If you don't plan it, like I have to put everything in my schedule, like this call this morning. If I wouldn't have actually put it in my calendar, this call would have never happened. You know what I mean? And I'm like that with everything. Like if I were you, especially at for sale owners, I would start like time blocking a little bit of time, each day or each week, specifically for follow-up. And with your market being a hot market and you guys having a lot of agents, I would probably time block, like you might want to time block a little time every day, put it in your calendar. And then if you don't have anybody to follow up with, you just make new calls during that time, I wouldn't spend it doing anything else other than prospecting. But yeah, follow-up is, follow-up's the place like agents miss. They'll make the initial call. They have like a really meaningful conversation with them. Sometimes they even go to their house and everybody likes you. You know what I mean? You have grandma like making you coffee and asking you if you're pie, right? Yeah. And then you never call those really nice people back. That's the problem like most agents have with follow-up. But if there's anything I can help you do, just send me a message and I'd be happy to do it. So, hey, if somebody's looking for an agent in the Houston area, how can they get in touch with you, Andrea?
I can be reached at 832-253-4540. I can also give my email.
Sure.
It's Andrea, Andrea. My last name is Leassear, Leassear @kw.com.
Cool. Well, hey, I really appreciate you doing this with me today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.